All right, so Shalom, welcome. When he said, set your affections on things above and not beneath, wherever a man's treasure is, that's where his heart is. So what he's saying is, he's not saying for us to, the things that he give us here to manage, you know, like he told the ones that took his money and hid it. He said, didn't you know I was a hard master reaping where I, well, you say I reap where I don't, so you already knew that about me. Then why did you take my value and hide it? So that's the same thing as misrepresenting what the Father has put in our hands. So in essence, what he's given us, we're managers. Not only we're a manager, the manager is the same as a good steward. So when I give you something, if you're a good steward over it, it's just like raising up your children. Will you give your child something of great value and watch him squander it or tear it up? No. You won't take something of value and give it to your child and it's possible he can't handle it. He got to be able to handle that $500 car before you go out there and sign for a $15,000. I hope you don't do that. But I'm just using that for example, or buy him a car where you put a lot of money in. So when he said where your treasures is, that's where your heart is, that's where your treasure. He's talking about spiritual matters. What are you working at your hands to? When he said, don't set your affection on things in the earth, that means the work of your hands. Some people work and have businesses to buy a bigger house. Or some people life goal is to get that fancy car they want. Or to buy that toy they want. Or buy those clothes they want. Or, or to have the business they want. To buy more of something. Or to whatever their goal is. So, when the goal is not on heaven and the kingdom, building the kingdom, that's when the heart is in the wrong place. And it is likely the man is not a good steward of this body, or the life or the breath that he's given us. That's something we're supposed to be good steward with. That means taking care of your body. If you take this body of value, he give it to you, you don't take care of it, you're not a good steward. So we have to take care of the body in order to handle those spiritual things that he gives us. Any work that has to do with eternal life is kingdom business. Has to do with building people as far as spiritual and leading them into a relationship with the Father. That's what setting your treasure, your heart on heavenly things. See, moths can't touch that. Thieves can't come in and steal it. That's if you don't let them. But when it is, so it's a great transition for the man to move from a physical life goal of having stuff, a husband or a wife, a picket fence, a cat and a dog, and 2 children. It is work. It takes work of the spirit to move from that mindset, which is an earthly mindset, to a heavenly mindset. And I'm going to give you a scripture to back to what I just said. Let this mind that was in Yahushua be also in what? In us. So if we're going to let his mind, the mind of Yah, be in us, we got to understand that we got to have the mind of the Hamashiach. So therefore, the way he thinks, we think. The way he talks, we talk. The way he responds, we respond. So this is why it is paramount to pray. And to pray over yourself. Pray that, Father, let me count it worthy. Because in my book, I'm all right. I'm 100. I'm 100. I'm 54 in my book. And I don't need nobody to tell me what to do. Because I got it all together. I don't need nobody to try to point, no correct, nothing. I need to correct. I don't need none of that. You know, so when we should be on our face, Father, let me be counted worthy to escape this wrath to come. You know, especially when we think in our book we all right. Then it's really dangerous then. It's getting even worse. It's worse. So that's why he say, judge yourself and you'll not come under judgment. But that's a very sensitive text. You know, where the man's heart is, that's where his treasure is. Where the man's treasure is, meaning the things he value, that's where his heart is. So a treasure has everything to do with value. Anybody got their blue letter Bible? Or blue letter, anybody can look into, I want to do it quick before we're still talking about Hadassah. We're into the book of Esther, and that's where we're going tonight. On Shabbat, we stopped at the 4th chapter. But I want to look at this word right quick. Let's see. Okay. I want to look at this word right quick. When we look at the word treasure, I want to look at it in the Hebrew lexicon. I love the fact that we understand that the Ivrit language trumps any other language there is. And we can understand the way the Most High speak according to the script of the letter, which every letter has function, it has meaning. You could take one word and break it down and dissect it and get a full meal from that one word. And it'll be a meal you can chew on. It could be one you can really say, hey, I see. Like, look, revealed breath, man, hand raised. You know, I can breathe now, I understand. So when we look at the word treasure, it has many meanings under the Hebrew name. But I want to look at this one that, actually two. One is Asar, A-S-A-R, Hebrew lexicon 686. So that is a Aleph, a A-N, and a Resh. Aleph, A-N, and a Resh. And Asar means, listen to this, lay up in store. Store up. Make treasure. So when you look at the word treasure, Asar, that's something you lay up. When you lay something up is a word that signifies to value or high, a height. Lay up. Lay means you put it aside. You hold it for another time. You lay it up. That means I'm going back to that. So you can lay up in your heart. You can lay up in your thinking, in your agenda. You know, like the back of your mind, you know how something you plan to do, and you put it in the back. I just lay that in the back of my mind because I need to go back to it. So when you lay it up and you lay it in mind, that means it brings value to it. You bring value to whatever that is. So we have to be careful what we lay up. Some people lay up anger. They lay up bitterness. They lay up depression. They lay up fear. They're still thinking about what happened last time when they tried to believe the Most High. They're still thinking about what happened when they trusted the Father and it just didn't come through. So they're laying up wrong treasures. So that's where the heart becomes tainted. The heart becomes dark and desperately wicked. Because when you lay up the wrong, when you asar the wrong thing, you store up the wrong thing in mind, then you get wrong what? Results. If I go out there in the garden, right, and I just take some gasoline, or some alcohol, something real strong. What if I just pour gas? What was the last thing we planted in the garden? Collard greens. We got collard greens and mustard greens and, you know, eggplant. So I go out there and just pour some gas on it. But yet I'm talking about I'm fertilizing it. So I'm not fertilizing that. I'm causing it to decay. It's going to die. I'm not going to get any fruit from that plant that I want to get fruit from. So I'm not going to get good manifestation. I'm going to get death. I'm going to get a shrivel up dead plant. I'm not going to even have anything to eat off of. So it's the same way in the spirit realm. If you don't lay up the right thought, the right treasure, the right agenda, the right motives, that's going to help you to do the right thing, that's how you can really master some things you want to do. You have to learn the gift of no. I'm going to lay up in my mind that I'm supposed to be telling myself no. I don't supposed to submit to that. So when we make value, the valuable things that we want out of what we desire, we make value that I'm supposed to tell myself no. I'm supposed to be disciplining myself. I don't supposed to be doing that again. If you lay up the right chastisement and judge yourself and chastise yourself, then the Spirit of Yah won't have to do it. So our treasure, we got to store up and make value out of the word of Yah, out of the things that he deemed as value. Sometimes we lay up other people's opinion and the way the world looks at success as success, and it's really not success at all. You know, we're after this dead thing that don't merit any favor towards us, but yet we're after it, and we got to do it, or we got to have it. Then we look at the word, I want to look at this other word, Hosen. Hosen, Hosen. So that is Hek, Samet, and it is a noon. It is Hek, Samet, that's Samet straight like this, and it is a noon. Hosen, Hebrew lexicon 2633, means strength, treasure, riches. So we see in the word treasure, Hosen means what? Strength. Which strength is the same thing as something you value. So we want to bring value and strength to the right thing, the right source, from the right source, to get what? The right results. So yeah. All right, so we're going to go quickly a little bit to Mishnah is another word, Mishnah. Hebrew lexicon 84543, storehouse. Store, meaning you got things stored back. This is how people bring success to their lives. This is the way people bring destruction to their life. Mishnah, M-I-S-K, and it has a little apostrophe, I believe, N-O-T. And it is, let me see, can I spell this? It looks like Mem, Samet, Ku. The one that goes like that. Oh, it's on the tip of my tongue. It's not a ko. Oh, it's an an. It's so small. I can barely see it. But it looks like, where's my chart? Like this, like that. I can't remember that. But it ends in a tav. Begins with a mem, samet, ku. There's a noon before the tav. It's one letter I miss. Okay. Mishnah. So storehouse. What's in your storehouse? Like, which one of them commercials say, what's in your wallet? What, what's in your wallet? What's in your storehouse? It don't matter what's in my wallet. I ain't into what's in my wallet. That can't help me do nothing. What's in my wallet? When I look at my wallet, I be like, don't do it. Don't do it. That don't matter what's in my wallet. That don't make me important. It don't make me any of that. What's in my storehouse? What's in my heart? What's important to me? What do I value? Where do I deem as strong and valuable to me? That means more than anything or anybody. That's what's important. All right, let's do a little bit of Hadassah. I know the other Shabbat I say Hadaka. I think I'd rather use the S because I can't find a C in the Hebrew language. I can't find the K, but there's no C. So it's Hadassah. And I changed the spelling. Hadassah. Hadassah, which is Esther. I had CC. I had C because in the Sefer, they use C. But when I think about, and I was thinking about it after the Shabbat, I said, there's a K in the language, but there is no C. So it's S, Samich, Hadassah. When I first learned Hadassah, her Hebrew name, as when I considered myself a Christian, that's what it was. It was S. It was spelled with an S. Hadassah. All right. So Mordecai requests for Esther's help. Let's go into that fourth chapter. I believe that's where we stopped at. In these Bible parables or stories, we can really get an understanding of what happened to us. Once we know who we are and the power that the Most High has invested in us, once we understand the word that the Most High spoke out against us, if we obey Him, if we do what He said, these blessings will come upon us. If we don't, these curses are going to come upon us. Even to the point where it talks about where our enemies were chased behind us. It's in Deuteronomy, I can't remember, Deuteronomy 28. And something about that. There, what is it, Shava? You remember it? They'll pursue. They'll run after us. And what it say? And they overtake us or something to that nature. But when we weigh out the two of the blessings and the curses, we have an option. We already see what we've done. We already understand why our people had to deal with such a death threat. Why, soon as Abraham was born, soon as Moses was born, soon as Hebrews, on many occasions, with the Assyrians, the Medes, the Persians, Rome. Soon, why these death threats? All the way up till today. It gives us comfort to know, especially when the Father has left scriptures of comfort to us. Although we're under His tutelage, His reprimand, we can still have hope and not just give up. This is why knowing the text is so important. This is why they stole these books. This is why these books was put away. They were ripped out of certain books. And this is why they don't read that, because they don't want you to understand. The goal is for you not to benign, not to understand. That's why He said, with all your getting, you can read till the cows come home. But if you don't understand, which means to comprehend, to prepare yourself for that test on Friday, when the comprehension, when the teacher put together that exam, and they are pulling out information, putting down questions that you need to answer or words you need to plug in. That's going to show that you understood what you read all week long. If you don't have understanding and you don't comprehend what's being said, your answer's going to be all flip-flop out of the just, you're not going to get good results. So we have to get an understanding. That's why we can't read the Bible in a sense of that don't make no sense. Well, why this and why this, questioning everything and trying to reason. Just believe what it says and know that we all should be falling prostrate. Help me to escape the wrath that is to come. Help me to be counted worthy, because according to your word, Father, I ain't worthy. Because just what these other people did in their inadequacy, I would have done the exact same thing as Eve done. I would have did the same thing David did. I'd have did the same thing Solomon did. Same thing Paul did, and the rest of them that the children of Israel did. We all would have did the exact same thing they would have did. Oh, child, please. We would have did exactly what they did, because technically we are them, and they are us. And so we know that proof of that is in the scripture, in the Bible. See? So he gets all the glory. Many members, but how many bodies? One. So if he called us one body, that means we're all just alike in a sense. Except he pick us up and place us for usage for a specific duty, then we're all the same. Abraham was able to pass that test and touch not the lad because it was the Spirit of Yah that was upon him. What man would be willing to take his own son? That's a hard thing to do. But we know it was the Spirit of the Most High upon him that enabled him to do something that didn't make sense. Because he didn't have a reason or explanation, except the Most High told me to. That's why he said, they that are led by the Spirit are the sons of Yah. So being led by the Spirit, meaning I'm going to cause you to do some hard things. I'm going to cause you to do some things that you possibly will not be able to do in your what? In your own strength. You won't be able to do that in your own strength. You know? So if you are able to do that, that means I did what? I've enabled you to do it. That's why he said, apart from me, you can do nothing. Hey, boys. I miss y'all. All right, let's go to that 4th chapter. It says, so when Mordecai learned, all right, we have about 20, 30 minutes. When Mordecai learned about all that had been done, all what been done, 4th chapter. So now Mordecai hears this bad news. He tore his clothes, put on burlap and ashes, and went out into the city, crying with a loud and bitter wail. Somebody else could read and help me out if you guys, if you could talk enough to. 4th chapter of Esther. Hadassah. That first verse I just read. So he wept loud, bitterly, and he wailed. All right, let's go to the 2nd verse, 4th chapter. He went as far as the gate of the palace, for no one was allowed to enter into the palace gate while wearing clothes of mourning. And so he's distraught at the moment. And he went into the gate of the palace. And as news of the king's decree reached all the provinces, there was great mourning among the Jews. They fasted, wept, wailed, and many people lay in burlap and ashes. And so this is giving us instruction on what our culture deem as right by Yah. Bad news, distraught, frustrated, need an answer, got a death threat, got something that you know you can't handle yourself. I need help. So the posture is prayer, fasting, weeping, you know. So they lay in burlap. What is burlap? Is that some type of cloth? Sackcloth. Sackcloth and ashes. So this type of material that they wore, that when people see them in it, this physical material was a representation of mourning. So, you know, now we look at each other's faces and say, oh, why you're so upset? What happened? But they wore burlap and ashes. So when Queen Esther maid and eunuch came and told her about Mordecai, she was deeply distressed. She sent clothing to him to replace the burlap, but he refused it. So he was outside in the city palace gate. Say that again, Shabbat. Sackcloth.
Very coarse, rough fabric woven from flax and or hemp.
So it was woven from flax and hemp.
Flax or hemp.
Or hemp. Interesting.
The hemp plant or flax.
So they took actually herbs or plant vegetation and they made clothes. That's how clothes is made anyway. A lot of them are made with plant stuff. So he wept bitterly after he heard the news. So we know there's a death threat already out for the children of Israel. We already know it. That's our forte. That's our lot. That's our fate because of what has been spoken. But even in that, the delivering power of the Most High. You know how you say, you get a kick out of that, how you say somebody get a thrill out of something? Well, the Most High does, because he even told the children of Israel, I hardened Pharaoh's heart. I made him where he wouldn't let you go, because I just want to show myself. You know, it's his track record. I just want to cause this thing to happen this way so that I can be made known in the life of my children. How could you have experience it without trouble, without a threat, without an enemy on your back, without haters? How you gonna know that he's a very present help?
It's funny you say that because I remember something you said a little earlier about we shouldn't ask questions, but my experience with the Father is different. I remember one time I was going through something years ago. We were going through some turmoil, and I'm like, Father, why you let me go through this? And he said to push you closer to me. He's answered me quickly, like within me. I heard him say, just to make you come closer to me.
Right.
Because the cares of this life, the issues, you know that you can't get through this without me.
Let me show you that apart from me.
So I let it come in like fire on purpose so you could just come on closer.
Right. So he let us face those times of loneliness, that we feel like nobody like us, or nobody wants us, or nobody understand, or nobody respect us. He does all that to every one of his chosen children. We all go through the same blade, the same cutting. What you say, Shabba? He said, like a newborn. We all go through that. You know how you have that belt line? You got 4 children, and you got that line that they got to walk through. You know, we all go through that same line. Who child number 1? You first. Come get this rod. And then, child, we all got to walk that process. I'm getting all four of y'all tonight. So everybody got to walk through that line, and you go get it. I don't care how you beg. Please don't hit me. Please don't hurt me. Please, please. I'm sorry. Beg all you want, but you finna get this. You gonna get this because this is what a father sees necessary for his children. A good father knows how to love his child through the power of the rod, through the power of chastisement, through the power of things that they think this is going to kill me. Yes, I shouldn't be going. Yeah, it's gonna kill you, and that's exactly what he wants to do. So this threat that went out, it was a time of sackcloth. Because you see quickly, it brought him to prayer. It brought him to wailing. He could have did other things. He could have started cussing the Most High. He could have started fighting. Just come on, if y'all bad, come on. Let's get down. Let's throw down, man. I heard you talk about me. You say you want to fight me. Then come with it. Instead of going high, he went low. And so he refused comfort from Hadassah. So she sent for Hathrath, one of the king's eunuch, who had been appointed as her attendant. So remember, Hadassah, the Most High set her up in a beautiful place, set her up with 7 eunuchs, I believe it was, maid servants. She had everything she needed at her hand. See, when the Most High want to use you, when he set you up, he has to give provision for you to carry out the call. So we're going to see where she was called to that place for such a time as that. So the Most High had to strategically put her in a favorable place to have everything she needs in order to carry out her duty as a queen. The eunuch. The eunuch was like a servant, a keeper, a black servant.
That's what eunuch was.
Uh-huh.
The eunuch was like the same person who should carry his cross was a eunuch.
Right. There were people that weren't married.
Basically like slaves.
Slaves. Okay.
And they were dark skinned.
Eunuch.
Okay. When you eunuch, that's dark skin.
Castrate, I thought about. You took that out of my mind.
Yeah, I remember one time.
I didn't want to say that, but yeah, eunuch.
And that was eunuch that was saved. Remember the eunuch was saved as well? There was a eunuch that they visited. They saved that eunuch.
Oh, the eunuch, the word in Hebrew, eunuch, is almost close to Sarah, S-A-R-A, which means more abundantly, breeding, but it's Saris, Samich, Resh, Yod, and Samich. Eunuch, Saris, S-A-R-I-S. Hebrew lexicon 5631, which means chamberlain, officer. So he's someone that's official. He's an authority that carries out the duties of the king or the one that's in charge. They cut off his. Okay, the eunuch.
To make sure
Not
he
just
can't
serve it.
touch the women.
Right, the women that he served.
To serve only.
Yeah,
Right.
in the palace.
So they was castrated for one purpose. So the enemy, the enemy that would probably get him off his duty,
Not the entire
was
worked out.
basically
Just
put
to-
away.
Just to test it. Just the
The part to produce.
yeah. Not
Oh,
the
okay.
entire
Oh, just that part. So to make sure he wasn't,
part
okay,
they take.
okay, I see. So, so she sent for him, Hathach, one of the king's eunuchs. She ordered him to go to Mordecai and find out what was troubling him and why he was mourning. So he was in deep mourning if he ignored his niece, which was like a child to him. So Hathach went out to Mordecai in the square in front of the palace gate. And Mordecai told the whole story, including the exact amount of money Haman had promised to pay. Verse 7. He promised to pay into the royal treasury for the destruction of the Jews. He promised to pay a lot of money. That was. So, whatever it took, that anger. So we know that had to be the spirit of the Hashatan upon him, because one thing about Satan, he knows. He knows where the oil is. He knows where the anointing is. He knows the chosen ones. So listen to this. If he didn't know that they were royal and chosen, nobody want to bother peasant people that consider peasants or the lowly of the lowlies. Why you think you're hated so much? Because I'm going to tell you this, you got more than you think you got. To have more than you think you got as a chosen of Yah and don't know it is a terrible thing. It is actually the essence of a shame. It's like you like ashamed of who you are.
And you don't know who you are.
And nobody use it. Yeah, oil that can be so valuable. Or frankincense, or the things that they deem as valuable that they can cash in to get what they need. But yet you don't use it. You allow it to go stale, but you're hungry. You're pitiful, you're broken, you're sick. And the same oil can bring you healing. That's a shame. Right. So you know, see, one thing about the children of Israel, the Jews back then, they weren't proud people where they were parading all over the place. They've been ripped from home. They were slaves. They were under the rulership of Babylon. Like I said, they were considered the lowly one of the city. The ones the rich would look down at to shine their shoes. Clean their houses. Take care of the things they didn't want to take care of and pay them pennies. They were the ones that would work hard in the field all day for a place to lay their head. So you know the hate that he had for these people had to be the result of the hot stuff. Even though I know there was something that went on between King, was it Agag? And something happened, bad blood. But our track record with that, we're hated on every side. If you read the book, you'll see it over and over again. We have always been the ones that have been forced to leave our culture. We've been forced. Who else in this world been forced to leave your country, leave your culture, leave your homestead, leave your place of wealth? The place where you built, the place that the Father has given you to multiply, to grow your own vegetation, to have your own. Where the enemy just come in and just rip you away from it. Burn down your houses, you know. What you built and created, they hate it so much because they didn't do it. What other people? So he paid a lot of money for the destruction. Verse 8. Mordecai gave Hathach a copy of the decree issued in Susa that called for the death of all Jews. And so we know the king was tricked. The king was tricked to basically sign or use his signature, his signet, to approve of this plot. So he asked Habak to show it to Esther and explain the situation to her. He also asked Hathach to direct her to go to the king to beg for mercy and plead for her people. So now Mordecai, this is why it's important to obey the Father. Now Mordecai get to understand, although I don't know if the text say that, Why did he tell Esther, don't tell them who you are? Don't tell them you Hebrew. Don't tell them you're one of the. Cause I guess because why would a peasant girl be lifted up into a palace? Well, all the girls, there were other females that basically went for the position, and they went through the 2 years of making and preparation for the king. So he asked her to please go to the king. So Hadassah returned to Esther with Mordecai's message. Then Esther told Hadassah to go back and relay this message to Mordecai. Verse 11. So, verse 11. Kings, to all the king's officials and even the people in the provinces know that anyone who appears before the king in his inner court without being invited is doomed to die unless the king holds out his scepter. And the king has not called for me to come to him for 30 days. So we see the awkwardness of the way the king do things in his kingdom. Not even his queen have a privilege or a right to go see her king anytime she get ready. So it takes what? It says 30 days? No, he didn't call her for 30 days. So she knew, I can't just go before the king. I even would put myself in danger if I present myself before the king in the wrong manner. He has to call for me. You know, we can't go to the throne room boldly of grace and ask for what we need unless we know how to come. It's a dangerous place. Like the children, not children, but like the heathens, you know, got together with the many different nations and tried to build a tower to see the Most High. They worked so hard to build them towers that they were killing themselves and dying and falling and not even trying to help each other out. They were so focused on building that tower, trying to come to the king of the universe with the wrong agenda. Wrong agenda, wrong motive, you died. Wrong consequences. Because you won't get the consequences you want. So, we see here, she sent a message back to him that I can't do this. So Mordecai told her, send this reply to Hadassah. Don't think for a moment that because you're in the palace, you will escape when all other Jews are killed. If you keep quiet at a time like this, deliverance and relief for the Jews will arise from some other palace. Place. So deliverance is going to come, whether it come through you or not, he's saying. So if you don't want to go and do this, this could possibly be your death as well. Why? Because the body of the Hamashiach, the body of the children of Israel, we all in the same boat. They're going to eventually find out you're one of them. Why? Because some of us going to turn you in. But did you know what the queen is? She one of us too. The speech betrayed them. Absolutely. That's a good one. Eventually, their speech will betray them. So he said, but you and your relatives will die. Who knows, perhaps you were made queen for just such a time as this. She was made queen for such a time as this. Why? Because she's in the book. The story's in the book.
They, you know, the Bible, Esther, and this time, they have a history of documented, ancient and modern history, when that king actually made that decree on the Jews. So it's history.
It is history.
It's history. It's not just what we think.
Right.
It's actually an ancient and modern history.
It's in the history books.
Yeah, it's history.
They got it somewhat in the school books, and some of it, even though they're going to explain it and put it out their way.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. It is history.
Yeah.
What we're reading right now.
Yeah, this is biblical literature. Is the best literature there is. That's why our children need to know it, because the biblical literature they know and learn is you're learning about yourself. You're learning your culture. How could you be saved in a body that you don't even know anything about its lifestyle? Because the body of the Hadassah has a lifestyle. It has a history. It has a culture. It has a path. It has a past. It has a set path that has already been set by the Father. Although it's been trying to be eradicated on many occasions, but it still will prevail. So he had to say to her, give her another word. Who knows that you have not been placed here for such a time as this? So Esther sent this reply to Mordecai, go and gather together all the Jews of Susa and fast for me. So we see our protocol. We see the process. When trouble comes, when challenge comes, when frustration comes, when death comes, when the enemy comes in like a flood, let's fast. Let's turn down our plates. Let's turn our focus in. Let's move from being scattered and separated as an assembly or as a unit, and let's move into one power, one force. That's why there's power in unity. There's power there's a corporate power, which is a corporate anointing in unity. When you got the same people that's with the same mindset, with the same goal, working simultaneously at the same thing, man, the job get done much easier. There's so much power where the weight of what is being done is not put on one person. Esther got to fast for herself. No, she said, tell everybody we're fasting. I need you guys to fast for me. That's what I need. I need y'all to fast. You want me to put my life on the line, but nobody want to fast. Y'all down there frying chicken and trying to nibble off stuff y'all ain't got no business nibbling off. You know, chasing behind quails and, you know, got your animals that you're wringing their necks and sacrificing, you know, whatever you're doing, your daily life, but you don't want to lift me up in prayer, you know. So she said, no, we're fasting. I need you to fast for me because I'm going to choose to walk this line. I'm going to choose to walk this dangerous line. I'm going to prepare myself. I'm going to get ready for the king. And pre-adventure, he would not give me the axe, but rather he'll give me his signet or his ring or gold scepter. What was it? If he hold out his gold scepter, pre-adventure, he'll hold out his gold scepter. He'll give me his approval because he don't know why I'm coming to him. So this is why we listen to the moral of the story. Esther being beautifully adorned with her beautiful, probably beautiful hair, beautiful skin. She was goodly to look at. So the Most High used her very presence to bring favor from the king. You know, no man wants an ugly woman, you know, or one that's unkept, or one that's not prepared or ready. She had to get ready. The man is going to make a clear decision when he's looking at two women as to which one he wants. I want the one that's kept. I want that one over there look good to me. She was appealing to him. So you know she had to go back again and prepare herself to go before the king unannounced. I'm sure he knew she was coming, you know, because they had that set time in the time of the kingdom's official preliminaries, that court dockets, yeah, or court going before, yes, that's a good one. So she had to get ready for this job. You know, sometimes I feel myself as Esther, and I feel my flesh asking, well, why you want me out front? Because I would have been just as good on the sideline. I don't have to be CEO or director. See, you know, I don't have to be in charge. I'm a good follower, you know, because I learned the weight of the call as I go through. See, had Esther known what she had to go through, how many think that Esther would have took that job? Me, I want to go before the king, and I might die. Oh, well, who want to be the queen? Well, let me tell you what the queen gonna have to go through. Oh, the women would have went back and say, no, I think I got something to do. I don't want to go for that position. I got some sewing I need to do. You know what? I think I'm going to go and clean the tent out. Nobody would want that position, because anytime the Most High call us, that's why he said, listen to this, many a call, because this is technically about a call of one woman that chose to obey the call. Many are called, but few are chosen. Listen to this. But they that are chosen are faithful. She was called, even though other women was called to position, but only she was chosen. And because she was chosen, that's what made her faithful. We need to understand, as a result of faith, because I was chosen, I can't help but be faithful. How does that sound? Does that make sense? Because I know that I was chosen, I myself can't even mess this up. Because if he chose me, he enables me to be what? Faithful. She was faithful as a result of the call. You understand? That's why she was faithful. And so she said, I'm going, but I need some people to fast. And then she said, we're going to finish out this 4th chapter, then we'll be through. Do not eat. This is what the fast was. So when we fast comes with specific instruction. Sometimes to fast means to refrain or restrain from something. You know, separate yourself from something. Here, she gave specific instructions. Can somebody read that for me?
Verse 14.
Yeah.
14. For if thou altogether holdest thy peace at this time, then shall there enlargement and deliverance arise to the Jews from another place.
Okay, go back up to the part where she gave the instruction. Then read that. What she say? 16. Wait.
16.
Yeah, start at 16. Yeah.
Go gather, 16, go gather together all the Jews that are present in Shushan,
Uh-huh.
and fast ye for me, and neither eat nor drink 3 days, nor night or day.
Okay, stop right there. Let's go to the Hebrew lexicon. Let's look at this big word called fast. When we look at the word fast, we see it as ahaz. Ahaz. Aleph, Het, that last one looks like, where's my chart? I like to challenge myself, but I still use my chart, y'all. Who removed my chart? Because it used to sit right here next to me. It's that little one like this. It looks like a resh, but it's not a resh. It's the one with the little thing on it, and it goes straight down.
Is that yours right there?
Is it orange? Let me hold it. Yeah, the orange one. Thank you. Let me get that last one. I look right. It's a Zion. A Zion. My eyes went right through to it. Zion, and I should have known that because of the Z. AHAZ. It's the Zion. That's how I challenge myself to learn these letters by heart. It's a Zion, which is the food cut nourish, the Maddock, the Zion, food cut nourish. So, Ahaz, Aleph, Ket, and Zion. So Ahaz means hold, take, possess, caught. Hebrew Lexicon 270. Caught. Possess means to take authority of something. So in our ability to Ahaz, that means we're holding our position, taking possession over something. Listen to this. Listen to this. Hold, take, possess, caught, fasten. So it's our ability to hold what we say we're going to do, take possession of it, and capture it. Because the last word was what? Caught. And after we catch it, we fastened it. So the instructions she gave her, do not eat or drink. Hold that. Hold your place and no eating. Take possession of your what? Appetite. Possess your soul. Ahaz. Capture that thing. Remember where the scripture talks about bring every thought into the obedience of Yahuah. Yes. So when you go capture something, you go possess it, and you go fasten that thing down. You're not eating. We're going to hold off for eating and drinking. So she said, hold off from eating and drinking for how many days? 3 days, nights, or day. 24-hour periods. Let's look at another word for fast. Listen to this, y'all. This a deep one. Boy, if you got your notes, ooh, that's why it's so wonderful to be able to record. Listen to this. Aman, A-M-A-N. Hebrew Lexicon 539. Noon, Mem. No, I'm sorry. Aleph, Mem, Noon. Aman, A-M-A-N. This is the last one. Aman in fast means to believe, assurance, faithful, sure, established. These are the benefits of fasting, of Aman. Trust, verified, steadfast, continuing. Look at that noon. Did we say noon? The word continuing, continue, air, seed, represented by the letter noon. Isn't that right? So we see continuance in Aman. We see what? Father in fast. So father is what? Strength, stronghold, power, leader. Lead yourself. Nobody else can lead you. And that father is represented by the Aleph. Remember, Abba, I am the Aleph and Tav. That ox head. Bring up. Listen to that. Bring up for fast. Nurse. Be nursed. That's that noon. That's that monarch with cut, food, and nourish. You're not nourishing your flesh or the flesh, but in fasting, it is bringing what? You're nursing or to be nursed or by way of uh, uh, what was the letter? The Zayin, I believe it was. No, Zayin is with Ahaz. So it still goes there with cut, nourish, and what was it? Food. I think that was Zayin. We can see that in being nursed. That Ahaz, even though Ahaz was the word before, but this is Aman. But these are the benefits. Surely be in the word Aman and fast, and then stand fast. And then the word fail, and then trustee. So, in essence, you fail in what you want in order to be nursed in what he wants. So fasting is work. It is so, I'm telling you guys, when you get a chance, get in your blue letter Bible and look up the word fast in the Hebrew lexicon. You see another one? QAL, let me go to Qual.
Strong's 86684.
Qualium. Which one was it?
Well, I have just a blue letter Bible, and I got well, do give me Strong's 86684. Abstain from food, which is verb. It's a verb. Qual, QAL. Call.
Oh, you used the word abstain.
It says some. Transliteration is some, or its pronunciation TSOOM. Let me pronounce it.
Strong's H, 6684. Soon.
Soon.
Oh, SOM?
S.
86685?
Yeah, I got an S.
Strong's H, 6684.
Strong's 8.
Oh, I see that. Some.
Yeah.
Fast. At all?
Yes.
Strong's H, 6684.
Oh, I see that.
Soon.
And
Soon. And it's a verb, a primitive. What is it? A primitive word. Root. Qual, to abstain from food, fast.
uh-huh.
Soon, a primitive root word to cover over the mouth, i.e. to fast at all, fast.
Uh-huh. At all. Uh-huh.
Goes down there. Which is verb abstain from food, fast. Late Hebrew, ID, Arabic, Ethiopic, Aramaic.
Oh, I see qual. Qual is like a ooh.
Perfect, second person, masculine, singular. 2 Samuel used at 12:21. Zechariah. Yeah, that's what in the blue letter Bible. That's what
Right. Yeah, it's a lot in that.
SUM
Soon. I see that. And I see the T.
and the
That's
TSOOM.
right.
Side.
Yeah, so that's, you say S-U-M, that's some.
Yeah, but the way they got it, a short, it's a long U, so soon.
Soon. TSOOM.
Because it's,
Soon.
it's not the short U, it's the long U.
No wonder they got the but that's an and.
S-U-M?
They spell it I-A-N, resh, mem. Oh, that's not spelled correct. Soon. T-S-U-W-M. Primitive root. To cover over the mouth. Too fast. At all. It is probably a dry fast. A complete fast.
Yeah.
No drink or
No.
water. Because she told them this was a dry fast. No drink, no water, no nothing for 3 days and 3 nights. And then she said, my maid and I will do the same. So they fasted corporately for an answer from the Most High. It is so much in this word fast. So I invite anybody to dissect this I just hit a little bit on this word fast and what it means. Quayam, sure steadfast. H7011. So she said, me and my maid's gonna do the same thing. And then, though it is against the law, I will go to see the king. My. So I'm going to put my life on the line. Since I'm going to do this dangerous thing, I need you guys to put me before the master. Put me before Abiyah. That's what I need y'all to do. I need y'all to go before me because I can't just sit now that I got this information. This is so vital. When you get information and you don't pray, you don't fast, you don't do nothing, that's sin. Because the state that we're in, let's bring it home to where we are today. All of Yashar'el in the four corners of the earth should be consistently praying and fasting. That should be an easy thing for us to do. The closer we get to the Father, the more we should be sacrificing ourselves. Discipline is the word. Disciplining ourselves, moving more away from what we want to what He wants, so that we can get the proper nourishment, the spiritual nourishment. Instead of we high and nourished in the flesh, and the things that the flesh want to do is just, hey, Sarah, it's just swinging back forward, having a party, electric slide line, and what that line is, black folk like y'all like to do. Cha-cha slide and got all this, parties going on. Party over here, party over there, revival over here, event over here, all this stuff going on in Yashar'el, and none of it the Most High have approved of. So it's time to let those things be dissipated in the things that He wants in order for us to spiritually be strengthened. It's time for those things. He said, strengthen what you have, remain. That was the instruction. You finna die. You're going to die, and your death is closer than you think. So rise up and cause that flesh to die, because you alive too much. So she said, I will go to see the king. I'm doing something against the law. See, the world law don't trump the Most High law. So all them lies talking about obey your master and obey the law, obey the government. It's not talking about, the Most High ain't telling us to obey this traditional law, horizontal law, over His word, as if it trumps it. If that's the case, the Maccabees would have been submitted themselves to the governor of the city. They would have been submit, got rid of the Shabbat, not kept the Shabbat or any of the feasts, in which it did work after a while because we were brought over here in slavery. We got to a point, we've died off. Our culture died off. We don't even know who we are. We find ourselves doing something that we were basically what? Forced to do. So she said, if I die, I must die. The end of that verse. So Mordecai went away and did everything as Hadassah had ordered him. So we need to prepare ourselves to die. That should be the mindset. I die, I decrease, so He may what? Increase. If I die, this flesh needs to die. This flesh nature, this sinful nature. Because eventually my flesh gonna leave this body, this spirit, this soul, your flesh gonna leave. All of us gonna leave here. So the goal is to be high up in the spirit realm so that we can find ourselves being in the same position as Esther was. I know about what is going on. Can I just sleep on all this that's going on in Yashar'el, in the four corners of the earth? No, I should be up, praying. I should be calling a fast. I should be willing